We're jumping right in. Surprise. Nice hat. I should have got my hat. What am I thinking?
I know.
What am I thinking? He's wearing our Summit. Can you get closer to your camera? Show the Summit coffee. You know, what a beautiful thing. What an absolute beautiful thing. And you know what? You can't buy it because we haven't put them into production yet. However, you will be fairly soon. I got a question for you. So we just finished our third strategy challenge. This one, we made some improvements. Obviously, we're always looking to improve and that kind of thing. Judging by everybody's reaction, and maybe not the reaction because they were pretty tired because it's Saturday morning, but judging by how clear they were and how they were working through some of their focuses and some of their strategies, how do you think it went?
I loved it. Yes, I'm a positive guy, but I'm also a very practical person. So when I see popcorns popping or eureka moments or aha moments, for me, that's success. So if I only see a bunch of bored people just trying to do homework, that's a class, that you can go to school or to classroom for that, and you'll forget 98% of it. When you are working with others, you are teaching others, you're learning from others, and you're getting that popcorn, that's success for me. So from that perspective, I call it a 10. Yes. Can we improve? Of course. We will keep iterating and improving forever. So I will never be 100% of a 10 for me, because that way, I will never be able to reach what I want. But it's close to a 10 for me because I saw the team very engaged, lots of new business ideas or improvements or changes in strategy. And that's exactly what we want, right?
100%. No, it was. So I just asked Adriana. So you just actually finished up with them. You just popped in because you were finishing with the cohort. How do you think this one, based on their reactions, because you just finished up with them? So I don't know what was said. Did they hate it? Like, what did they say?
No, I think it was received really, really well. There were so many light bulbs going off, even like from day 1 all the way through to day 5, that everybody seemed to be feeling really, really clear on what they want to be focusing on going forward and the strategy that they were able to put together. So I think all in all, it was an absolute win.
Yeah, I liked this time with the change that we made at the end, with it being like getting much more granular, like comparing the zoom out, the zoom in, and the importance of zooming out and zooming in. I should have said it like that. It's always like, dang it, I should have said that. When you're like in an argument with somebody, you're like, oh, I should have brought that up. But yeah, it was much smoother. I'm very excited for future cohorts. They're going to be very clear.
Next one on Tuesday.
Yeah, next week, literally. They're very clear on their strategy. They're very clear on how they can continue to execute and create new iterations to their strategy. This is not like this is what you can do for now. This wasn't a short-term thing. They have tools. They have the thought process. They have the strategy core to utilize and continue to grow and find success in their business or future businesses too, because it's obviously applicable. We had people in there from the service-based, like coaching, finance, construction, automotive, data. Like we had a little bit of everybody, and then obviously it's just as applicable to all. So,
and on that point, I love that they all could understand that there's a bunch of paradigms that we'll have this. Oh, nobody understands me. I'm in this specific niche, or I only do this thing, or I'm alone. No, they're not. They could find a very powerful mastermind group out of nowhere. They didn't know each other, or several of them didn't know each other. And right off the bat, because they spend time in different breakouts, they can connect and find very, very quickly that vulnerable space and psychologically safe, where they can actually vent, share where they are, share their plans and strategies, because they also, we also kind of are very, very clear with confidentiality and keeping things in the room and things like that, where they can do those things. Most of the times they can't, not even sometimes with their even business partners or with their employees, right? Or their sponsors, whatever. So I think it's important for them to several of them expressed that they were happy to find that additional group of people they can talk to, they can relate to, they can learn with, because that's just another very fast accelerator of learning, which is observing and teaching someone how to do something, even though you should be teaching yourself. But that happens to others, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Moving on, because I don't want to talk about how awesome we are the whole time. Some of the time, not the whole time. How's that for a segue? We, especially like this time of year, right? As these cohorts were kind of filling up, there's a lot of like, yeah, I'm not doing any of that right now, or this is a bad time of year, or I'm so stressed out right now, I can't even possibly figure it out. And there's like this there's this kind of like alternative paradigms of like, this time of year I'm not doing anything because I'm just gonna just that time of year, like it's kind of a lazy time. It's like a kind of a carefree, or your focus is elsewhere time of year, or it's like, shit, we didn't hit our goals, let's try to cram in all of our goals in the next 2 months, sort of thing. Right, there's a lot of that. So when you're looking at like, what is your, let's talk about the first one I brought up too, like this time of year I'm gonna back off, I don't want to do anything. Do you think that's the right strategy to do this time of year? Like what's your opinion on like people that are like, starting December 1st, I don't do much?
I think it depends very much on the place that you're at. I think if you're more established and you're like, I want to just have a breather, I could see that. I could see like wanting to take advantage of that. That being said, I think majority of people are probably in a state where they're like, I really am like wanting to move ahead or work towards goals. And I will speak personally, I kind of love the fact that everybody's dropping off, because I'm like, well, let's see how much we can hammer out and get ahead, while everybody else is kind of like, I'm done, I'm good for right now, I'll pick it back up. And I also will never understand this whole like January 1st hits and now it's new year, new me, and like we still talk about that every single year. And I'm like, when are we going to realize that just because the calendar changes doesn't mean that now all of a sudden you're this brand new person? It's like, it's literally just another day. So like, let's just keep working on improving and driving towards goals and things like that. So like, I don't know. I don't personally relate to that whole mindset. I definitely used to fall into that trap. But as I think gotten older, I'm like, no, it's literally just another day. Let's just keep moving.
I mean, that's a perfect segue. I think that one of the key things that I share with a lot of people is that all deadlines, all of deadlines are artificial. All of them. Death is out there and it will happen.
Yeah.
But what is artificial? And if you really think about it, yes, if you work on a public company that it's, for whatever reason, somebody put together that you need to have quarters. And I mean, that is so fascinating to me. It's all roboticized. Yeah. You all have to. So if you can take a step back from all of that stuff and just find your own rhythm, you can find micro moments every single day where you can just chill and you can find focus. So if you really think about it, if you really think that the only thing that you really have is today, yes, you can plan for tomorrow and you can reflect from yesterday. But if you only have today, the only micro planning that you really have to do is your day, right? And if you really think that way, even on the last day of the year, you can chill, you can do whatever you want, but you can also spend a little bit of time to think through. And that way you get out of that trap of following into the robotic, mindless drone NPC train that we all are part of, by the way. It's difficult to get out of it, of saying, oh, I have to follow what everybody's doing. No. Do whatever works with you. Now, naturally, certain things flow better for certain personalities. That's a fact, right? But what I've observed in my chaotic personality is that through the day, I can gravitate towards my moments of just relaxing and chilling, the moments of intensity, and then multiply it times 365. What cracks me up is, yes, we're using the Gregorian calendar for whatever reason, but if you look at it, there's multiple other cultures in the world that don't use it. In some places we're in year, I think 7,000. There's like even just think about it. It's all artificial. So no, I don't agree, Zach, that people are just doing that stuff just to do it. If they can afford it, as Audrina said, and they can just chill for a whole month, congratulations to them. Look at Europe. Europe is a great example. In August, everybody disappears in average, right? And in the US, it's like, oh my God, how can that happen? It's impossible. No, nothing happens. They just don't work. And that's that. That makes sense.
Yeah, it comes down to, I mean, it sounds like it comes down to intention. Like if you intentionally, like you set your business up or your life up in a way where December 1st comes and you can not do anything, you can screw off, you can go vacation and do all these types of things, which is totally fine. If you've intentionally set your business up and your life up that in a way that you can do that, then amazing, awesome. But when you get stuck in this, you're either reacting. I think it's either like you're either reacting or you're making excuses. You're reacting because you didn't have intention, you didn't set your business, you didn't set things up, you didn't set the processes up, you didn't set your goals up, you didn't take action on your goals appropriately or input enough effort into your goals and that type of stuff so that you can relax in December. And now you get to December and now you're reacting like, oh shit, we need all of our sales. There's a stat, I can't remember what it is. I'm kicking myself not knowing the stat. It's a good time to know a random stat. Is the amount of companies, and they had it segmented by industry, the percentage of their sales that come in Q4, because they especially the last half of Q4, because they're pushing so hard to hit quotas and getting their pipeline, their bottom of their pipeline closed out by the end of the year. And then they go into January and there's no sales because they haven't focused on the top of their pipeline. It's like a huge percentage when we were doing.
Most companies are that way.
A lot of them, especially ones that have like longer sales cycles. When we were doing, when I was still doing sales coaching and leadership advising, it was that was a huge number of businesses that's how they operated. So if that's how you operate, and you're either lazy or you're using it as an excuse. December's here. It's that time of year. I'm just gonna take her easy for a little bit. I'm not gonna go to the gym. New year, new me in a month. I'll be good then, sort of thing. So it's to me, it's either laziness or just lack of intention, and then you're just reacting. Laziness and reacting, and it's not really two places that you should be. Some people want to be lazy, but you shouldn't want to be lazy.
Well,
what about
the fitness one?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the fitness one is a funny one because it is like people will be like, screw it, it's the holiday season. Like literally from Thanksgiving or just before Thanksgiving all the way through December. They'll be like, screw it, my diet's out the window. They'll eat. They'll gain probably like 5+ pounds throughout that next month and then be kicking themselves in January because now you have like a higher starting point where had you just kind of like balance it out or done the 80-20 thing where you're like, I'm going to still enjoy my Thanksgiving meal, my holiday meals, if I've got plans with friends for dinner or whatever it might be, you can still do all of those things, but it doesn't mean that you blow every other day of the month. And I think that that's a really toxic mindset to get into, especially around this time of year. And I think that it can be applied both to business and fitness, really. But I think that's a big one is like just we lose all balance just because it's a certain time of year. And I think it's really important to be mindful about not doing that so that you can set yourself up to have a better start or even jump ahead when everybody else is slacking off, potentially. I know not everybody is, but just like potentially.
Well, here's one, and I don't know if you were going to go into that segue, exactly, because you published it somewhere in Facebook a couple of days ago, but think about how the shopping sprees are also set up, right? So there's companies that their whole year is focused on just a specific season, because again, we're programmed to do so. And when you were saying, Zach, could you control your instincts on on Black Friday or Boxing Day, or whatever everybody calls that? I am extremely proud to say that I bought 0 things. First time in my life. Yes, but it was because I was like, you know what? Let's just and guess what? What is fascinating is a lot of stuff is actually on real sale. Here's the thing. a lot of people think that in things in this time of the year things are on sale. They're not. They're actually not. Most of them are not. When they are really on sale is when they actually need to sell it, and that is in January. So the best time of the year to buy stuff is January and February, because that's when people need to go and get, and that connects with the sales cycle that you were saying.
Yeah.
So everything's connected.
I know. I'm like, should we just move Christmas to like end of January instead? We'll just do our own Christmas and get everything actually on sale. Zach, you're muted. I don't
There's
know
one of my favorite
you're
memes.
He's looking for the
on
meme
here. I'm trying to find it so I can bring it up. It is absolutely hilarious. Oh, dang it, I can't bring it on here. Oh, because it's not in the right format. What do you see the one where it's Braveheart, and he's saying like hold, right?
Yes.
And it's
Mm.
it has like I think it's a barbecue, and it was like Wednesday at $8.99. It's like hold Thursday $8.99, hold Black Friday normally $10.99 on sale for $8.99. Go.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. It's so funny.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Black Friday like holiday sale memes. But yeah, no, it's mostly like if you really want to save, if there's something you need and you want to save money, focus on like when do they need to when did some of these stores need to make room for like the next season's things, or like when do they need to like liquidate some inventory to make room for things like that's when it's like viable for them to then operate at less of a profit so they can make room for things so they can make more profit on. That's like when the real sales are. And you get like, isn't that, Adriana, I don't mean to be calling you out, but I'm kind of calling you out a little bit. It's mostly, it's like the women's shopping logic where it's like, it was on sale. If I don't buy it, we're losing money or something like that.
Absolutely. No, but that's actually true. Because if I was going to buy it anyway, I better buy it on sale rather than
if you were going to buy it anyway.
Money. Yeah.
But
then
that's not, and I'm not saying that you do this. I don't want to get in trouble today, not on this Saturday. But when you like women in Target and they're like, oh, it's on sale, I'd be losing money not to buy it. It's not something that you would have bought anyways if you didn't go. Like that's like the logic. Like I was on sale, I'm losing money if I don't buy it.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's it was on sale. Why not? We don't need 87 more pillows. Like that's not how it works. But
yeah,
it's super like that marketing. There's Paco, you might have watched it. It's on Netflix. Yeah, it's like the secret behind marketing. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about. It might just be on Canadian Netflix. I doubt it. That would be everywhere.
Was it the shopping one? Was it the shopping one?
What is it called? What is it called, Adriana? Yeah, it's about shopping. It's about marketing. And like the secrets that mass marketers, the secrets that mass marketers use. But it's so funny how predictable humans are, even though we think that we're all unique, obviously in certain ways. But we are so predictable.
The $1 billion marketing secrets?
No, it's called Buy Now, the shopping conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where it talks about like consumerism and how they use like predictive psychology, like mass psychology, to predict like how to like brainwash us basically into buying stuff we don't need. It's super interesting. We are so predictable. We are not that advanced. We think we are because we have a phone that talks to space, but we're not. Like it's
well. Here's you want to get more mind-blowing things. I love to say this to people because they're like, no, that's not true. It is true. So connecting to all of this, you know that social media apps create a social graph of you and create multiple psychological profiles and many things. I know that because I worked at social media, so I know that. So for a fact, not my tinfoil hat, is my Somi Chaser's hat. So the point is they put multiple points associated where you put the likes on, right? And when you spend more time on, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of people are like, oh, my phone is listening to me, or, all of that stuff, because I cannot believe how accurate that ad just popped up. I was just thinking about it. Well, here's the thing. They are predicting what you're going to think. and then it shows, because they're seeing what you are following in social media. They are seeing, people don't know this or don't want to know this, they actually can get data from your chats, from your texts, from your email. You are giving them access. Your phone knows everything, right? So they know all of that. So yes, if you really think about it, and because we are so predictable, because we follow patterns, the thing is going to say, okay, this person is liking that, and that. Let me just put this ad in front of them that is going to make sense. And that's why normally ads in those platforms has such a high click rate when you focus on very specific demographics, because we're predictable. So I'm sorry, we're not special.
Zach, I just had a full aha moment because you're always talking about biases. So with that, Paco, there's literally been times where like I've talked about a specific brand, like with Zach or with a friend or whatever. And then the next time I'm on Instagram, there's an ad for that exact brand that I haven't talked about. And I always was like, oh, it's listening to me, blah, blah, blah. But now being more mindful about biases, it's probably because I just vocalized it and was talking about it that I've actually recognized that it's in front of me, where like I've probably seen that ad throughout the last couple of weeks or the last month, but it wasn't top of mind for me. So I didn't correlate the two. And that is like, I don't know why that just fully gave me an aha, like light bulb moment.
You create your reality every second that you live. So that's even more mind blowing, because people are like, no, it's your reality set. No, it's not.
What do you, Paco, what is your known, like, what is your biggest predictor that you are going to want to learn more about something? Like, especially in like disruptive marketing efforts. Like, what is the number one thing that will make you go like, yeah, I'll click on this and see what it's about? Like, what is it?
Yeah. That's a great question. It has changed over time, by the way. At this moment in time, it's companies, products that are disrupting something, that are doing something significantly different, and that are making a difference. So I'm starting to make that shift towards companies, products that have a clear footprint on how they're impacting their community, or they're doing something different. So as long as there's something that is very evident and clear, that is not the average brand, I'm highly interested. That makes sense to you?
No, that makes a ton of sense.
So for example, Volvac. Have you heard of Volvac? Let me put it in. So V as in Victor, OLEB as in Black, ACK, I think. Volvac. Or no, AK. What they do is they create this special clothing, but it's made out of crazy materials like graphene, and and they add carbon fiber stuff into stuff and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
So they are so innovative into it. Their marketing
jackets built from 11 kilometers of copper.
Yes, I knew you were gonna get. I knew.
That doesn't even make any sense.
I knew it. I think we're similar on that. And they are also very focused on making clothing that lasts forever and stuff like that. And they have the 100-year pants and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Oh, and they have that like the waterproof. Holy crap!
Yeah. Trust me, I love
is crazy.
Oh, that's nice. You can get a sweater for $900.
Yeah, I mean it's very expensive.
That's super. That's reasonable.
They're crazy expensive.
How would even a full like a copper jacket feel like to wear? Like that can't be cozy.
I own a few of those, but let me tell you, it is true. Those things last. They're made for lasting. That's why when you balance out expense versus versus quality. So that one, for example, makes a lot of sense to me, because they are really trying to make something different.
Yeah, you're also more likely to get struck by lightning.
Yes.
Yes, it was right away. It's like, no. So I don't know. I don't want to spend $1,000. That's like one of my fears. That's super interesting. I also saw there's 2,000. Hold on. This is insane. It is 2,000. Where did I see that? A utility jacket. Well, it says indestructible utility jacket. $1,200. So a jacket is $1,100. A t-shirt is a regular black t-shirt is $200. These are their best sellers.
Made out of check the ingredients.
Look, if it's not made out of like vibranium,
they're not edible.
if it's not made out of vibranium or something like that, I'm not spending $2,000 on something that I'll probably leave on the floor at some point. All right, let's see how much.
Wait, but hold on, Zach. There's a jacket here. There's a jacket here that's $2,900, but it's made from materials that land stuff on other planets.
You see, if you put me in an Iron Man suit, I'll pay. However, just a regular hoodie is $1,000. So it's $595 for a zip up.
Check their Cyber Monday. This company does. No, they do. They check their prices. So they moved it to $159, $200. So it's definitely
extreme 4-way stretch built with high strength Dyneema and corduroy.
Oh, that's interesting, Paco. Though, because like their Cyber Monday, they've got stuff that's originally $645, but yet they're now selling it for $129. So like, how much does it actually cost them to make it?
Those are true prices. So the problem is now I'm gonna eat my hand because I might buy something.
Holy crap!
But because look at these are real discounts, by the way.
Yeah, but so also no. But that's like that just makes me think about how much are they already marking it up if they're willing to sell it now for $179? How much did it actually cost them to make that jacket? And how much are they now earning off of people who are willing to spend $700 when they're happy to sell it at $159? Like that's actually mind-boggling.
Well, I mean, if it's the value, it's a value proposition. Like if it's cheaper for them to make, but it's still that much better and more indestructible than everything else. I mean, you can mark it up however much you want. But this, so they tested this jacket. So it's 1 millimeter thick, which isn't very thick, but it can withstand a 75 kilometer per hour, which is like, what is that, 50 miles an hour, fall and drag on concrete. And they know this because they took it to a lab and beat the crap out of it. They put it in a full weighted fake dummy, crash dummy, and dragged it on the concrete.
And of course, now you can check that almost everything's gone, of course, because, you know.
Well, they probably don't make.
All of the good sizes are gone.
Yeah, and they probably don't make a ton of these things at a time, too. I'm sure like a manufacturing plant that makes copper clothes is probably few and far between.
Hard to come by.
But yeah, so that makes sense. So that kind of stuff would make you stop and be like, huh? Like more curious. But then what makes you want to, like, what would make you want to purchase it? What about something that, like, you're not just curious about, but something that
he already said he's going to purchase it. He's going to purchase that. Yeah.
Did I tell you on it?
Because I bought it before. So
you already bought it.
I bought a few well, on some of these sales, but some not on the sales, because I consider myself an early adopter, and I want to support some of these companies. So normally what I do is if I buy something, I actually send an email to the founders or whatever and say, hey, you know, I like this because of this, this, and this. Here are a couple of, I don't know. I just love doing that stuff because.
That's cool.
So did you have them? Like, did you have it with you, or was this recently?
I have a couple. I have a couple of this. Yeah, I have a couple.
What's your first impression?
They're great. I mean, the swimming shorts are almost indestructible. I've used those things forever and look perfectly. They have a couple of shirts that you wear on the crazy Houston heat, and they have all sorts of different things that make you perspire much better. Perfect. The pants. When I was in Seattle, I wore those pants all the time because they are fully weatherproof. And I was one of those crazy people that I didn't walk with an umbrella. I just walked with the pouring rain, snow, whatever that is, with just all of my crazy weatherproof clothing, and they have weatherproof clothing. So, yeah, you know,
we might need to get you some of that for the winter here, Adrina.
Yeah.
No kidding.
You know.
And by the way, just a big disclaimer to everyone listening to us: I am not an ambassador of the clothing.
I'm not an affiliate. I am not making a profit off this
I just like
conversation.
them. I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Adrina? What's the thing, like, if you see an ad, like a disruptive ad, what makes you want to click on it? Like, is there something that you, other than you're just...
No, I don't. I'm not really like looking for stuff like that. If Unproductive posts a sale, I want to shop. If Sephora posts a sale, I want to shop. Fresh
So it's more
beauty,
like if you're either looking for it or if somebody you trust
yeah,
posts something, like launches something.
yeah, but like very common. Like mine's like makeup and clothes and shoes.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't really, not really looking for crazy things.
The ads that I get are, they know me very well because it knows that I, like, one of like my things that I always, like, you kind of worry about, or one of my fears, I guess, is that, like, I'm not, like, cognitively, I might decline just because I got hit in the head for a few years in a row. So I'm always getting like
Because of sports. Can you just clarify that that's because of sports?
Just sports. Yeah, sports. Yeah.
High impact business activity.
I just hit my head against walls or whatever. No, yeah, sports. So I always get worried about that part. And also, you know, you're always like in our line of work, you know, you want to be able to perform and that type of stuff. Like I want to be like, we're running our strategy challenge. I want to be able to operate and be quick and learn quickly and that kind of stuff. So that's always like something that I'm always sort of focused on and always curious about. So like I get so much like the neurogum, the RE, like the new studies that come out like about mushrooms and that type of stuff. They're like, I get so much of that. And if I get an ad where it's like did you forget your keys one too many, like, or something like that, and then it like instantly spikes my fear of like I'm gonna like start getting things and stuttering and whatever it is. Anything like that gets me every time. I don't care what it is, click on it. It could be something ridiculous and I'll click on it and just be curious about it. But that's my thing. So it knows me very well. It's like, you're scared of being stupid, I'm going to feed you a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah.
So
supplementation industry is insane, right? Because when you look at memory or gut health or longevity or whatever, it's insane because everybody claims now that they can cure everything, which is interesting. So it's
been like that forever. And like I was in that industry, like even like early on when it was even more unregulated than it is now. And like when proprietary, like in some cases, proprietary blends are not allowed anymore because all they would say is, I have it as 2,000 milligrams of our proprietary, you know, protein blend or our proprietary muscle growth blend or weight loss blend or brain health blend. And all they have to do is list what's in it. They don't have to list the amount of each ingredient that is in the proprietary blend. So you could be getting a ton of this one thing just because it's cheaper for them to source. And then all these other things that are super important, not enough to even make an inkling of a difference. And there's a ton of that. Like, it's such a deceptive industry, and it's the marketing on it is very powerful because it caters and focuses on things that people have so much self-doubt around and so much, right? Like especially people that are, whether they're not in shape or they're, you know, that they worry about their weight or their looks or whatever it is. Like, it's something like very viscerally like personal. So it's like the messaging and the marketing can get very like personal. Like, so it's a really interesting industry to be a part of, and it's very easy to get into. It's getting harder to get into, but it's still pretty easy to get into. It's even harder to differentiate, and it's harder to stick around. It's interesting. I would never get back into it, to be completely fair, unless there was a product that I believed in 1,000,000% and I helped develop. But it's tough.
Well, let me tell you one more thing though. My wife, she studied a master's in supplementation. So she's told me a few things that just blew my mind in terms of the interactions or correlations between different supplements, and how if you take certain set of supplements without certain other thing, or without certain, without fasting or non-fasting, or without certain specific of, nuts or fruit or fiber or not, or whatever. And then if you take some of them, and then you take another group, they can just go against each other and they cancel them out, and you're spending money. So all of that stuff is just nuts, because a lot of people are just buying a bunch of supplements and thinking they're just going to be super healthy. And several of them are just throwing their money to a garbage can.
Yeah.
So,
well, it comes down to like most supplements, most minerals, most vitamins are really hard for our bodies to absorb if you don't also take a certain type of magnesium. Like there's like just even that simple. Like if you just take these hard calcium pellets, it's going to be, well, and that's the other thing too. Like you take these pills, and if you have like these hard pressed pills, your body doesn't absorb it anyways, because you're basically swallowing a rock. Like there's all these factors, and like it's wild. There's a lot to it. It was just so easy to trick people, because so many people are naive to like the science, to how things actually work. So it's just very easy to trick, because you're targeting something that people are just so self-conscious about. So they're desperate in some cases too, because it's just so personal.
I also think it can be really hard though if you're not educated on the situation. Even if you go to educate yourself, how do you know what sources you're supposed to trust these days? Because there are so many different sources that'll contradict each other, claiming that they're the expert. So it's like, what are we supposed to do? Or how do you find the credible sources to educate yourself so that you understand how these types of things work?
There's a lot. Like I'm not proud of some of the companies that I worked with. They get people, like women and guys that look good, and then they get them to say whatever they want to say. People are going to believe them because, like, I want to look like that guy, so I want to listen to what he's saying. And it's just not the case.
Yeah, the unfortunate situation here is Ozempic.
I was out.
So, that thing is, in my personal opinion, I respect everyone's view and whatever, but I think that it's one of the worst things ever, because it's terrible, because it's not attacking the root causes. It's just symptoms.
Well, it's just going to make things worse, because there's already a ton of side effects that they're seeing with certain individuals, certain body types. And you're right, it doesn't tackle the habits. So let's say that Ozempic gets pulled off the shelf, or they can't afford it anymore, or whatever. Something changes where they can't get it, or they have to change some sort of proprietary ingredient in it, or whatever it is. So it's not the same type of effectiveness. You lose it. You've actually made the habits even worse, because you haven't had to focus on them anymore.
You've given it a crutch.
You've just given it a crutch. So you can eat. I think because it just suppresses your appetite for the most part, right? And speeds up certain aspects of like your fat deterioration or whatever. You're probably making some of the habits worse, because like I can eat whatever I want, because I'm gonna stop eating because I'm gonna get full really, really quickly, or I'm gonna not want to eat artificially, not gonna want to eat these things, and then all these like triggers and all of these cravings and stuff are gonna come back 10 times they were before, and you're just going to go, like, you see that a lot of with people that get their stomachs stapled, because they can't eat a ton, right? So they eat fairly poorly, and then they slowly start to stretch their stomachs out, and they're actually worse off than when they were beforehand. It's wild. It's wild out there. It's wild out there, everybody. Be careful. Careful with what you're doing, right? Don't be lazy. Don't take the short way out. Build the habits, exercise, be healthy, develop the skills, educate yourself. How's that for a ending to this?
1 apple a day. No, do 100 burpees one day. I just can't. That just keeps blowing up my mind every single time that I.
100 burpees or Ozempic?
No. Your burpee thing is just like, what? How many were those? 130?
I don't know. In the workout itself, there's about 130. But like I was a former professional. Like I competed all over the world in like fitness, racing, and that type of
I
stuff.
know, but it's still
So
insane.
I'd have workouts. I'd have like a day. Like we would work out. We would have 3 or 4 events a day over 3 or 4 days, and like one event would be. I think one event was like we had to swim 2K, run 5K, and then bike 10K. And then 2 hours later, we had to do a max deadlift event. And then 2 hours later, we had to do like a crazy rope climb gymnastics event. So it was like, don't compare to what I have done to what you should be doing. If you want to start out at 10 burpees a day, better than none. Next day, do 11.
Yep.
And just do that forever.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, but very proud of how the strategy challenge worked out. I'm very proud of the team. I really appreciate the both of you. Appreciate whoever's listening to this. And I'm excited to keep going into the new year more consistently with the coffee club. We have some fun things coming up and some very exciting news that we should be announcing here in the next few weeks. We announced it to our strategy cohort, but we're not going to announce it to the public quite yet. However, I'm not going to say it's going to change the game, but it's definitely going to allow us to change the game. So, any last words before we parting? Or say last words? Any last words? Any parting words before we?
Yeah. I will remember you. No, I think it's always fun to wrap up a challenge. It fills me up with energy and passion and because it's helping out others and it's empowering others to get to a better version of themselves and everyone that participates in the challenge is willing to do the work. So going back a little bit to not looking at the shortcuts or anything, we all look at YouTube, we all listen to podcasts. That's great. Keep doing that. But instead of just trying to get the Ozempic and trying to lose the weight, do the work and you get there. So the challenge can be a great way of doing that because you are exercising your mental muscles every day.
1,000%. All right, everybody. Appreciate you for being here, whether you were live, we saw a few people popping in and out, or if you're watching it afterwards, we appreciate you. And we're very excited for future 5-day strategy core challenges. If you're interested in a future one, we have one coming up on January 21st. So you can go ahead and send us a message. We're going to get that updated on the website in the next few days. But until next time, everybody, keep chasing your next summit.